bright orange or something, like Mr. Tillett's mechanic. He's got the right coloured trainers. And here is Mark Kimber's World Championship Rotax Junior winning mechanic with the just about the best combination. That is the apron, the Tony Kart t-shirt, the radio by the bum, bright blue trainers, orange laces. Oh, you've got to have weird laces and an apron. And do you want to just lift up your t-shirt there to see, have we got a kart mechanic tan? Or we're too busy trying to brief our driver in how to win a Grand Prix. Is the mechanic tan there? Oh, I think it might be. Well, enough of that. Pod's just looking, going, oh, he hasn't noticed, because I've got trendy sunglasses on and it's really cloudy. So, the OK Senior class. This is the CIK preferred class that will compete for the World Championship here at PFI later this year. The winner is the second time that we've run this at Kart Masters. Last year, Oliver Hodgson became the first ever winner, and he starts from pole position in the number 1 kart. He's the British champion. There's a £500 voucher from Strawberry Racing. The GP plate, there's a Samsung curved all-in-one sound bar. Up for grabs for the winner. £800 in vouchers available for the top 3. Mark Kimber for Strawberry Racing starts on the outside of row 1. So it is number 1, Oliver Hodgson for the PF International team, last year's GP plate winner on pole. Mark Kimber, the 2014 Cadet Honda GP plate champion and last year's Junior Rotax World Champion. Rasmus Lind from Sweden, one of the leading contenders for the world title this year in Kart and 12 Fusion Motorsports. Luke Knott, former runner-up in the British Senior Rotax Championship, 4th in the British Championship last year, starts 4th. He finished 4th this race 1 year ago. Callum Bradshaw, last year's FIA Academy champion, the 2016 Kart Masters Junior X30 champion for the Factory CRG team, starts 5th. And Ben Waldridge, privateer entrant for Utility Energy, I'll get the sponsor name right, but he is a privateer. He starts 6th. Then it is Archie Tillett in kart number 8 on the Fullerton chassis for the Tillett Racing Seats team, and Oliver Clark for the M Sport team, who have already won a Kart Master title in Junior OK. The youngest driver on the grid in this class, could he make it a double? Ewan Wilson for the S8 Racing team, and I confess an interest to having a special affinity for the S8 team, seeing as they've looked after Enrique de Leon, the driver I helped to suffer through Kart Masters, put through Kart Masters. In Junior X30, the driver from Trinidad and S8 Racing have been very good looking after him. Ewan Wilson goes from the inside of row 5 alongside California's Dante Yu for the Comp Kart team. Juan Sabater from Spain for the S8 Racing team, and Scott Mackerel for Fusion Motorsports on row 6. We should have Jake Douglas out there in Kart 14, but he's not. So Rory Hudson and Laura Tillett round out the field. Lights are out. Oh, there goes Jake Douglas. His dad Wayne must have been asleep or something and forgot to get his kart out. He will join the field. We got 15 OK Senior karts heading out onto the banking, led by defending champion Oliver Hodgson. Dante Yu and Juan Sabater side by side, and I hope that Juan's dad and sister are watching, because they've been enjoying their Kart Masters experience. But I'm not sure how much they're going to enjoy that, as Juan gets sandwiched going through the it's not a sandwich, he's Spanish, it's a paella, through the second hairpin, but he emerges unscathed. Dante Yu has slipped to the back of the pack, and there is 14 kart, and there's Callum Bradshaw rather making a move for second place, or is that third place, because Rasmus Lind is into P2. It's Hodgson, Lind, Bradshaw, then the 2 strawberry karts of Kimber and Luke Knott, and Paul Spencer thinking, oh come on, I've put 3 vouchers up for the top 3, at least you can get one of them back to me so I don't have to spend it. They rather are 4th and 5th, and then it is Archie Tillett, Ewan Wilson, Oliver Clark and Ben Waldridge in 9th. Juan Sabater up into the top 10 with Scott Mackerel 11th, then Laura Tillett, Rory Hudson, Dante Yu and Jake Douglas. But it is under darkening skies. Oliver Hodgson leading this race. Rasmus Lind second, and now we're going to see, I'm talking about how you're going to manage a race in this. It's 15 minutes. The OKs are the most highly strung engine. They rev the highest. They're the fastest, most powerful. So the drivers have to manage the power and look after their engines through this. So you'll see the drivers adjusting the settings, adjusting carbs, adjusting radiators, putting their hands down to cover the airflow, just to try and make sure that their engine is performing to its maximum when the last lap board goes out. Hodgson leads. Bradshaw trying to get at the inside of Rasmus Lind. And it's Hodgson on the Birrell ART kart, then Lind on the Spirit Jazzy Profusion, then the factory CRG of Bradshaw, and then two Tony karts in the form of Luke Knott in fourth, because he's been fourth virtually every time the checkered flag has come out, and then Kimber in the number 45. Through the Mike Wilson complex go the leaders, and Lint and Bradshaw are closing in, and I have to say that the CRG team, their faces were not ones you would associate with smiles on Friday evening, because the wagon did not want to go around the circuit, and they have obviously worked extremely hard, and there's been a few members are still struggling, but Callum Bradshaw, I have to say, has picked up Spencer, picked it down the head with a wet fish, and then shut it down and said, go on, get up there, and it has. Listen, Bradshaw is third. Don't forget, last year he was a junior. Rasmus Lint goes to the inside of Hodgson, but Hodgson, who last year's British senior champion, has been a senior. Well, he won his first of two Kart Masters titles back in 2013 as a senior. This is his fifth year at least as a senior driver. Very, very experienced. Looking to join George Russell, Adam Christodoulou and Alex Sims as the only drivers to win 3 titles. That would put him joint 5th on the all-time list. Rasmus Lind, well, he would like to join the list containing the name Marco Ardigo as non-British winners of Kart Masters. And there's a fair few other drivers in this race that could as well, but the top 5 are pulling away from Ewan Wilson in 6th position. So the S8 team, the Sheffield-based outfit, holding their own, doing a good job ahead of Ben Waldridge. Waldridge in the number 47 runs 7th. Archie Tillett is 8th. There's a move from Luke Knott to pass Callum Bradshaw, and the move is successful. Behind Archie Tillett is Oliver Clark in 9th. Juan Sabater in 10th. Laura Tillett 11th. Rory Hudson 12th. Scott Mackerel, Dante Yu and Jake Douglas, all 15 drivers still running as they complete lap number 5. And it's worth mentioning again, but then people are tuning in at different times, that Oliver Hodgson, so you've got, now that is the PF International team, it's run by Paul Fletcher from the circuit. And Oliver Hodgson, so many years we associated that colour scheme with Mark Litchfield, and now with Litchfield being more selective with his racing and more hands-on with the running of the operation, Hodgson a couple of years ago brought in, was almost the apprentice, and has soon learnt all he needs to know and a lot more besides, and is building his own trophy cabinet for Mr. Fletcher. Lint and Knott now giving chase. So Bradshaw's dropped back a little bit, and you can see Bradshaw moving his right hand down over to the air box to change the airflow ever so slightly. So it's almost like you've got to give the karts a breather. You've got to get pat on the back and say, okay, we'll have a little rest, and then we're going to go again. Because you do have to coax these, okay? They're very, and there goes Bradshaw, and that was a spin in the straight line, and which tells me that perhaps something, I don't know, I wouldn't want to comment, it's just behind the start this time, but very not often do you see karts spinning in a straight at the end of one. Now Archie Tillett is slowing down as well. Now if something like that sees or a chain came off, then that would have been the reason why. So Bradshaw is out. And he has driven his car out for no reward. But hey, could be in 6 weeks' time that happens. You may look back and think, well, at least they haven't the Kart Masters, not at the World Championships. And that promotes Notton Kimber. So Kimber is not with the lead three. He has not been able to hang on. Yellow flags waving as they come down the hill as the marshalling team remove Bradshaw's car. Oh, and Archie Tillett's got a very poorly sounding Fullerton chassis as well. And so Tillett is about to begin the second retirement. So we're down to 13 runners. Jake Douglas in 13th. The top three nose to tail. Kimber's got a bit of work to do. There's a big gap back to the driver in 5th place is Ben Waldridge. So Waldridge has gone past Ewan Wilson. Now I've said it before, and I will probably say it again, this class will live or die on the ability of the privateer driver to compete and compete competitively in the big events. Ben Waldridge is one such privateer driver, and he is in 5th position. So, unfortunately, James Lingard withdrew from the meeting overnight, and there's a move for the lead. Rasmus Lind from Sweden takes the race lead away from Oliver Hodgson, and Luke Knott fights back and takes 2nd place away from Hodgson. Mark Kimber now coming a bit closer to the top three. Ben Waldridge has got Ewan Wilson and Oliver Clark right behind him. Now, behind Oliver Clark is Juan Sabater is up to 8th. Rory Hudson for Thule Motorsport is up into 9th place. Then it is Scott Mackerel, Dante Yu and Laura Tillett all in a line. No one has dropped off the back. Jake Douglas is about 4 seconds back, but then he started further back from the pit lane. Lint is trying to pull away. I'm just going to look at one of my lists, and with 6.5 minutes to go, Rasmus Lint, there's through the screen is Ben Waldridge pulling away a little bit from Ewan Wilson and Oliver Clark. There's the battle with Dante Yu at the back of it in 11th place, and Oliver Hodgson passes Luke Knott for 2nd, and now defends. Knott wants to go straight back in on him, and Knott's going to have to deal with the attentions of his teammate Mark Kimber. And Hodgson, 6 minutes to go. Got to get back up to Rasmus Lint, because Rasmus Lint is pulling away. The gap between 1st and 2nd is up to nearly 1 second now. That is something that Oliver Hodgson will have to do something about. So, we start lap number 11. The fastest lap of the race so far is Luke Knott's, 55.06. Ricky Collard earlier placed a bet. He said, if I was a betting man, well, I am a betting man, and I'm about to bet that Oliver Hodgson in the next 2 laps beats that 55.06 lap time as he catches Rasmus Lint. Let's see. He's got the 2 Strawberry Racing Tony Karts behind him, and he's pulling some distance on them. And I've got a timing screen for him. That's a green first sector, so that's Oliver Hodgson's best first sector of the race so far. He's gone quicker than Lint through sector number 2. There's Archie Tillett, who retired a few laps ago, watching things unfold. Luke Knott pulled back and the Kart, and it's a 55.10 for Hodgson, a 55.11 for Rasmus Lint. So Lint is holding his own, and of course, he's one of the group of favourites potentially for the World Championship this year. But Oliver Hodgson also would like to think that he is one of the favourites as well for the title. And again, Hodgson a 10th quicker than Lint now through the first sector. And the 2 Strawberry drivers, Kimber now in front of Knott. Knott was obviously feeling a little bit uncomfortable with not being in 4th place, so he's settled back in. These 4 are 3 seconds in Ben Waldridge in 6th. And oh well. A 55.25 for Hodgson, so I would have lost my fiver. Kimber under pressure. Hodgson is closing in though. Lint was 800 slower than Hodgson last time around. So this is why Hodgson was just putting his hand over the air box and fiddling around with the various settings earlier on, is because he knows that now is the time that he needs absolute maximum from that kart. And I think we've lost Rory Hudson somewhere on the way as well, the Thule Motorsport driver, who admitted it was going to be really tough for him, and it was proved to be correct. As they come to the Mike Wilson complex, Rasmus Lint, looking at the list of winners, we've had Marco Ardigo from Italy, and he's the only really foreign driver that has won, although take Jordan Chamberlain who's from Newport and pretty foreign land. There's Ben Waldridge. So there is the difference between the Fusion Motorsport team and Rasmus Lint from Sweden and Ben Waldridge and his dad from Ascot. It's about 4 seconds. All we need now is for more drivers and parents and families that know karting, are in the sport, to think if Ben can do it, then I'll have a go as well, because that will create a class that has longevity. You cannot survive with just the support of a couple of teams. It's proved time and time again. That's why we no longer have the KF engine, why we no longer have the Formula A engine, because the top league itself. So, Hodgson now within spitting distance of the Swede, who's looking to become the 3rd Fusion driver to win a GP plate this afternoon, and the 2nd non-British driver to win a GP plate in history. But Oliver Hodgson has just taken his time. He's got 90 seconds to go. It's taken him a good few laps. Shows just how well Rasmus Lint is pedaling that number 12 kart. But will he resist Hodgson? Well, he has to. Hodgson is now just glided up to the back of it. Number 12 machine, Rasmus Lint. You have to remember, he's no expert round here. Oliver Hodgson virtually lives at the circuit. Rasmus Lint rocks up from Sweden and gets to grips with the place. The very, very good drivers, very experienced, very good drivers like Lint. They do learn circuit very quickly. But he's now got to learn how to deal with the driver that is one of the most successful drivers here for the last few years, Oliver Hodgson. Don't forget, Hodgson is trying to do the double. We're going to see Hodgson again later in Senior OK. He's going to crossover move as he got the momentum. Lint just guides Hodgson towards the inside line, and Hodgson sticks it up the inside anyway. They run wide through the Fullerton S's. Watch the strawberry, well, there's almost strawberries and cream there, and there was a little bit of bumping and barging going on as the 2 strawberry drivers sorted themselves out. Kimber up to 2nd, and there's Lint's chance gone. Now, has Hodgson done enough? He thought about not doing it, and then he thought, well, I'm going to do it anyway. 10 seconds to go. He scrambled. Now Luke Knott passes Mark Kimber into P2. Kimber looks aside, let's not go. Ben Waldridge is now only 2 seconds behind the lead group, and Lint has passed Kimber as well. Now maybe Kimber's kart is suddenly not 100%. He's lost 2 positions without really defending them, and the clock has struck 0. Luke Knott has not led a lap yet at Kartmasters 2017. This is as high as he's been. He's now got Oliver Hodgson not far in front of him. Into the Mike Wilson complex. Last lap board awaits. Hodgson looks comfortable. I don't think Luke Knott is quite close enough. Hodgson checks over his shoulder. Lint 3rd, Kimber 4th, and then Waldridge in 5th, Clark 6th, Wilson 7th, and Dante Yu in 8th. Last lap. Row the thinking. Well, actually, I spoke too soon, because Luke Knott is driving the wheels off that Tony kart down the hill. Hodgson, though, is not one to generally make a mistake. Into the first hairpin. And out. Hodgson checks again. Well, that shows that he is not completely certain yet. He checks again over his shoulder. Into the Fullerton S's. On to the back straight. Now into the Bobby Game corner. Luke Knott may have to settle for second. Lint is third. Kimber is fourth. Out of the left-hander through the final chicane, and Oliver Hodgson takes and defends his title in OK Senior, and thus becomes only the 8th driver to successfully defend a Kart Masters title. Simon Haraway did it in junior team game back in the 90s. Michael Simpson did it twice in senior Rotax in the early noughties. Justin Edgar did it in 100 National. Jack Harvey did it in Jicker. Dan Holland did it in 177. Ben Barnacote did it in KF3, and Lucas Orrock did it in 177. And now in the Premier class, Oliver Hodgson wins his 3rd title, and we go into the last couple of races saying that the double for the 2nd time in Kart Masters history is still potentially on. Luke Knott finishes as the runner-up, and only about half a second down. 3rd was Rasmus Lint, so we have Sweden on the podium. Then Mark Kimber in 4th. What a result for Ben Waldridge. Privateer driver takes him a top 5 finish in the Grand Prix. Oliver Clark